Hello Thor. This game was tough, and it seemed like a miracle that I managed to keep the soldier alive long enough to scrap out a win. I tried to make a few plays that failed, died to a couple of wrestlers. I felt like I spent the whole match panicking to figure out where to position, because it was so hard to play around enemy DPS. My team just didn't help me and forced me to expose myself all the time. Do you have any positional tips or anything else based on my gameplay? Is my team just bad, or do I suck? Name: Linuka. 3250 SR. Season rating: Hero Mercy. Let's take a look. Linuka. If it actually was your fault, or if your team was just basically out of position and you had to follow them. You are playing on Havana. Obviously you play Mercy. And let's see what kind of team you get. You already see like Ryder Zarya and 2 long-range DPS. So obviously the first idea is always, what is your job? Like, how do you impact the fight for, like, make it a win, basically, right? Like, and most likely, at least I guess, is here the obvious version that, okay, I just damage boost by long-range DPS to control the space, so that the engagement from the enemy team, whatever this might be, is delayed as long as possible, so my DPS can kind of kill them. Really important is, as you already did here, really nice, as a Mercy, to think about where is my path of retreating. Because you can only fly or only go somewhere where somebody else is. So you obviously want to stay here to damage boost your long range DPS, but you also want to know exactly, okay, here behind is my Ana, this is kind of my path of retreat, so if somebody dives here, or if something happens here to my soldier, I can always just fly back to my Ana. Let's take a look on how the first fight works. I'll just like speed it up here a little bit, because I don't expect much in the first seconds. Just basically I'm shooting. Going out to the opposite side, okay. This is already awkward, right? Like, you're standing here between kind of 2 DPS, and you have to the whole time like look around from left, right. So it is obvious that if you see both at the same time, you can make better decisions. So instead of kind of standing here, you should try to play here. On the other side, even this like initial kind of Guardian Angel all the way to the side is risky on the one hand, but also like unnecessary. Like, you travel so much speed, so it's instead of like, right, like here, where is it? Where's the enemy Widow? Okay, Widow is dead right now, but imagine like this Widow has now 3 choices or 3 chances to get a kill, right? Like, she can either hit you here, then she could hit you here, and she can hit you here. So instead of traveling so far and just giving her 2 extra chances, why don't you just make this Guardian Angel, then you stay here and you don't give her this chance, basically. Just standing on one side, stay here, heal the Widow up, still having both in your line of sight, and always still have the Ana on the other side to potentially Guardian Angel away, if she peeks a little bit more. So, saw this already? There's the dive, you obviously hear it. Keep the soldier alive, that's nice. Also the Widow. And luckily the Ana was there to heal you up. But yeah, you managed it, right? Okay, obviously the Widow is contested. Where do you want to go? Like, you're flying around and now comes the reds and barely avoided this. But like, can we please go back once? Like, what was the plan? Like, alright, like, did you survive this? That's fine. And now you just support the Widow? Okay. You're in open space now, and from this moment on, you just like fly around in the open space. Like, the Widow is dead already, you don't have to come to her again. And now also, like, what's the biggest danger in your opinion? Is it really the ball that is standing here in ball form, or is it kind of a potential Widow that is standing somewhere here? My other problem is also you don't really know where the Widow is. Like, you just kind of panic because you know, okay, like, something is shooting at me, but you don't know from where, and you also don't know kind of, or at least you don't really have a direction. Okay, where do I want to go? Like, there are 3 obvious places. Option number 1 is just basically hide behind the Ryan. You just use him as a body block and damage boost and heal from there. Option number 2, you look for a corner, basically this corner here you can use. or you basically look for this corner to hide. And the third option is that you just actively like avoid everything and just go away, and then you just breathe 1 second, reassess the situation, and see, okay, like who's my priority, who I want to support, and like who are the enemy, like where the enemy enemies shooting at me. All right, let's just continue. Obviously, right, the rest here, it's okay. Like maybe going a little bit, like really make sure that you're behind the car is maybe the best. But yeah. Okay, now going to Ryan. Ryan is not really the target of your concern normally. How the hell did he manage to get out of there? Like, wow, this is impressive. Like, right, like, I mean, we obviously also wrote, like, how do I stop panicking, or like, the panic is a problem. This is the case. So, let's pause this real quick. Like, what do you do, or what can anybody do against kind of this panicking moment? In my opinion, the best way of dealing with it is to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself before the before the fight, and make yourself a clear prioritization of what do I want to do. And if your prioritization is that, hey, I want to support the Widow and the Soldier, or like supporting kind of the DPS or like the tiers on the flanks, and make sure that they don't have to give up space, then you stick to this as much as possible. Healing the Reinhardt here is like, it's nice, right? Like, it's like, yeah, okay, I want to support him, but it's not your job. Like, it's Anna's job to take him alive. And of course, in some situations, you have to say, we are losing right now. I have to maybe take more risks, so do something that I normally don't do because my soldier is dead. Then you just say, okay, I'm going now to the Rhine, but consciously say this is a risk I take right now to maybe, hopefully, make us like win us the game. Another option is, instead of heading the Rhine here, which is say, okay, like the soldier's dead, I have no rest. I maybe just go back and here support the Widow, or maybe make sure that the Anna can heal, because the Reinhardt is, at the end of the day, is still Anna's priority, and the Anna can still heal him. So it's normally better in this case that you make sure that the Anna can stay alive and do her job, aka healing the Reinhardt, and you support her doing this, aka being ready to also support then the Widow or like somebody else in these cases. It's just, you take a huge risk here, which, I mean, pays out at the end, but obviously, yeah, it's completely, I don't want to say unnecessary, but it's incredible that you kind of get out of there. And then you openly order Ryan, like, right? If you would say like, hey, I actually want to support my Reinhardt, then keep doing it. Like, if you really want to say this, then why are you not standing here, right? Like, being aware that Doomfist is punching, obviously then hide, and exactly, support him more. Nice hiding. Yeah. Like, a little bit of awareness, right, about the rep. Like, I got so scared when you do this. Like, look where you are right now. Like, you peek out, basically, towards the Widow with, like, completely unnecessary. Like, you need to have a feeling on where kind of your corner is if you play around. This does not happen. Alright, the next fight. And let's think right, we have ultimate up for you, we have nano boost for the Anna, so immediately also thinks, okay, like the Reinhardt or the tanks, who most likely will get a nano boost, are even less of a concern of mine, because I expect the Anna will heal her. So your job should be, okay, protecting basically DPS and maybe using the Mercy ultimate when dive comes in to survive. Okay, supporting the soldier, I like it. Playing on the corner, also nice. You got attacked, okay. You look for the next corner, this is nice, right? Like, it would be maybe not best, but where do you get attacked from? Like, obviously, yeah, you can support the soldier here still, but if you get attacked here now, there's a Doomfist. So it is, generally speaking, like, he obviously gets attacked right now. If you now go up here to the next corner, it is easier for him to kind of follow you, because if he then slams and does something like makes his combo, he can just do this also and avoid the LOS from your team. If you just stay basically here, right, like basically take this corner, then he has to expose himself even more towards you, and obviously the whole team is there. So sometimes, it is not always the case, like obviously it's a case-to-case basis, but what I'm missing here is that the awareness of like who is attacking me, like what's happening, because you only look at your players that you want to support. You want to look around a little bit. Okay, like what is the best situation for the moment, or my best position for the moment, instead of like having this like automatic reaction. Okay, like I get attacked, I always fly away. It's not always the case. You don't always have to do it. It's the same thing here. Like, I understand completely fine that you use the ultimate and so on. You can do this, but if the Doofus came here, you can also just kind of like maybe like peek out here, right? Like fly to the Widow instead of using the ultimate, because it was not like you were not in the risk of dying in this moment. You could just easily avoid this with just better movement of using your ultimate. If you use the ultimate just in this moment to say, hey, because I want to damage push everybody, win the fight, I'm fine with this. But not as a tool like to survive right now, like because it was not necessary. Okay, a little bit of movement problems here. Taking the rest, you really want to take the rest, like obviously, yeah, you have ultimate and the rest. It's easier to take a rest, but you don't see what's going on. It feels like your crosshair is so far down all the time. Like you look the whole time, you run around like this, and of course you don't really see much, right? Like you want to maybe look a little bit more up. Of course I understand there's a mechanic of like you want to reduce your hitbox, like a hitbox as much as possible, but I don't think this is the case. So how about instead of going here to Ryan and rest them, you use the time of your Guardian Angel to eliminate the threat, or at least like understanding, okay, what's the problem? The Widow is the problem. Okay, what can I do against the Widow? You can, for example, fly here with the Guardian Angel, especially with Mercy ulti. You're so fast. You should, I think it's a risk you can take, and just basically pistol her out, maybe even kill her, but most likely just take her out of this position. And then after she's gone there, you can go back to the Rhine and potentially have a better rest. So obviously we want to support the soldier. Okay, we go to the soldier, nice. Damage boosting, exactly. Don't heal the Rhine, don't heal the... Okay, why not to heal the Rhine? How about, like, before I say this, can anybody in the chat kind of answer this? Well, I always keep sharing chat in the comments, obviously, of the YouTube comments. Like, write down in the comments why you should not heal this Rhino to get attacked from the ball right now. From the ball and from the Hanzo. I will, like, you can pause the video here, and I will obviously leave the comments afterwards. So, why not to heal the Rhine? Two reasons. Or, like, one major reason, actually. You always have the option between, obviously, the heal or the damage boost. And both things lead to a kill at some point. This one is obviously more direct. If you just damage boost somebody, the people, or like the person, dies quicker. If you heal somebody, you allow him to basically stay alive, let's just say like alive. He lives longer, and then potentially he can deal the damage, more damage, and he gets a kill. However, in this scenario, Reinhardt is not like, he's not the one that kind of is killing the ball right now, and he's also in danger of dying. Like right now, it is so much easier to get a positive outcome out of this fight or out of this engagement for us if we can just keep damage boosting the soldier, make sure that he kills the ball, and then the ball is not able to deal any more damage to Ryan, which obviously means my Ryan will not die. Why can the ball not deal any more damage? Because the ball is dead. And it's Anna's job, who is in a good position to take care of this Reinhardt, and not your job to heal the Ryan. Like, a damage boost is so much more valuable than healing Reinhardt, who is like in a completely fine position. He has like full shield and everything, like 1300 shield. There's no need for you to kind of risk, obviously, first of all, your position, because you go out in the open again, but also like leave your soldier basically hanging dry, and instead of like supporting him with the additional damage. He doesn't even lose the armor. Like, if the tank still has armor, then like this is the amount of HP he wants to trade anyways. So yeah, like in this case, please just keep a damage booster with the soldier instead of going to the Reinhardt. Even now, like, it's Anna's job. You're completely fine. If you make this decision to make a quick rest, then make it immediately, and it's amazing. Okay, it's amazing how you don't die, but I mean, this was karma, to be honest. Like, this Guardian Angel here. Like, and it's the same thing what I said before. It's this 0 or nothing. As like either you stay there and you feel like, yeah, nobody's attacking me, I'm fine, or you feel like, okay, everybody's attacking me right now. Right in this moment, the only danger you actually have is the Ryan behind you. So you don't have to immediately expose yourself and go into like into completely open space in front of the Widow, in front of the Hanzo. In this moment, you can just say, okay, Ryan is here. Obviously, I need to run away. How about I just go up here first, right? Like, say, okay, like try to run away from the Ryan, and then see, okay, look, there's a Hanzo. Is the Hanzo looking at me right now? No, he's not. Then maybe I can go here and fly towards the Ana, for example, instead of like flying all the way to the Sigma. Or I just at least use the Guardian Angel until this point, here under this corner, heal the Sigma a little bit, and just try to hide. Obviously, there's still the Hanzo, which is a problem, but I mean, there's not always, I'm not saying here there is always the best solution. Like, of course, sometimes you will come in these moments where you have to take this risk. But my main problem is that you take this risk without assessing the situation first. Without, like, looking around, okay, like, where are they? What's happening, basically? Right? Like, you can so easily just fly to the Ana here. And on the way, basically heal the Sigma. Like, you can already, I think maybe you could manage to kind of get a healing beam going here, keep healing, and then you can just peek him like this, which is obviously optimal. Instead of kind of flying basically in front of him and almost tanking for him with your HP or your body. And then you're dead. So we skip a fight here and go to the next one. And right now, right, like there's a new fight, you're coming out of spawn, so your first job should be thinking about, okay, how do I impact the next fight? What can I do? And we already see here, okay, we have Nano Boost, we have no Soldier ult coming up, but obviously we have a Sigma ult and so on. So immediately I would think, okay, I don't have to take care of the tanks at all because we have Nano Boost, and most likely the Nano will go to the Reinhardt or to the Soldier who looks for the Visor. So immediately your job would be, okay, I come to the same conclusion basically, which is also fine. The same conclusion I had at the first time of supporting my flanks, aka the Soldier, and then you want to just damage boost him so that he gets his Visor up quickly, and then we can see where the Nano Boost goes. But that should be your priority in this case. The damage boost especially. I'm okay with you flying away. In theory, you don't need to because there was not so much threat for you, like anybody dying. So again, damage boosting the Soldier is better, and just staying there because we were super safe. I don't expect somebody coming from the left.
Let me get you patched up. I've got you. Damage.
Same thing as before, right? Like I just want, like, I don't want to go over every time, but just to summarize it here, full force. The risk that you take to keep this Sigma, or like to rest the Sigma, is very high. The reward you get out of this is not as high as the risk. Why? Because first of all, the payload is all the way, like, where's the payload even? Like, it's so far away, right? Like, most likely a fight here will not happen. And even if the fight happens here, then, like, who cares? Like, let them use ultimates. We have to have another fight anyways. But the main point is the Sigma is so close to spawn also. So he will come back so much quicker than anything else. And we are also in a great position, like in a defensive position right now. They haven't even pushed in. So it is really unlikely that we have, or like we are not in an advantage, but we are at least neutral. We don't have to take a risk in this moment. To just keep the Sigma alive again. He will just come back from spawn, and it would be so much easier to just damage boost the Widow, or like, I don't know, maybe even trying to get to the Soldier somehow, right? Like, position yourself here, see, okay, well, how's the situation? Maybe my Ryan makes some space for me, maybe the Widow is got distracted because of this Widow, and then bam, looking for the opportunity, like actively thinking about this. But this just flying to the Sigma just to rest him, for resting's sake, I'm not a big fan of it, at least. Supporting your Soldier again. Unfortunate. Oh, and yet, I'm sorry, but your camera walk, right? Like, you always look at the ground so often. I cannot even see things. And that's unfortunate. I mean, we just die against the dragon there. Right, like try to like have the camera work a little more up, especially when you guard the ancient, so that you can look around a little bit, see where enemies are. So now same thing, right? Like you go out, you die, and you think about what is my next kind of goal. What do I have to do? And immediately I see obviously the soldier. Okay, he used ultimate here already. Right, like this moment here, soldier used ultimate. Obviously I see him here. He's already fighting, so my highest priority should be to go to him as fast as possible, support him. But you take a time here, you even like damage boosted the Hanzo. And I would just basically go right away to the soldier, right? Like make sure that he kind of can do his job, or like support him doing his job. You see the Widow, you play defensively. Okay, and then you still go into the LOS from the Widow. Again, like too much movement, as we said before. Yeah. And do you get punished? No, you don't get punished. You make it alive barely, but obviously again here, unnecessary risk, right? Like it's not your job to keep this Reinhardt alive, and he's in a position where he will most likely not die any second. It is so much more. It would be so much better that you would make sure that this Anna can heal him, because she can heal on range. You cannot heal on range. And that she does the job. And how can you help the Anna to heal the Reinhardt? I mean, basically taking care of her threats. For example, I would even be fine if you just shoot at the Widow right now. If you just take out your blaster and shoot at the Widow, because she obviously is looking this direction. Another alternative would be damage boost Hanzo. Make sure that he can win this duel against this Widow. But definitely not your job is to expose yourself against everybody. Not only against the Widow, but also against the Reinhardt, against anybody else who would come here you haven't even seen. Could be there basically, and kind of go to the Widow. And you get shot, right? And you almost die because of it. Now this was a good moment, for example, right? Like here, it's good that you heal the Roadhog. Like in this moment, is that you heal the Roadhog instead of damage boosting the soldier, because Roadhog is in a position where he is risky, right? He has no breather, as you saw, and obviously he's like right next to the Rhine. He has no shield also. Like all of these things mean he is about to die. So obviously there you want to heal him instead of damage boosting the soldier, which is fine. It's got an ancient, that's the point. Exactly, good. That's the thing, right? Like, yeah, naturally we would say, it's a bad position, you don't want to stay at the point, right? Widow, Hanzo, Reinhardt, all of them can attack you, but obviously it's the risk that you have to take. Like if you don't do it, we lose the point or we lose the full match. So that's the moment where you assess, okay, it's a calculated risk that I take right now. Then you take the rest, it's the same thing, right? Like you maybe think, okay, if I don't take the rest, we will definitely lose, so I take the risk of resing him, which is fine. The problem here is again, like if you would have thought about this, right? Like maybe I'm not saying it's not so easy, obviously, to implement everything in the game, but you have to focus maybe on one thing. And if you say like, hey, now that I rest him, it is not necessary for me anymore to have this risk. Like it's not necessary for you to stay next to the payload because my Roadhog is doing it. It's so much better if you now just go here, hide from everybody, and still support the Roadhog. With healing and damage boosting or whatever you want, right? But instead of going kind of, instead of going here, it is definitely kind of not a good place to stay, because obviously you're so much more risky. Just go here, or like somewhere here in the air, to survive and chill, kill the tanks, but don't put yourself in trouble. And again, you're looking at the ground, right? Like, just because you don't see them, doesn't mean that they can not see you. Like, that's not how this works. Alright, let's make a summary. So, when it comes to your movement, as you already wrote, panic, right? You panic a lot. What can you do against this panic is basically control it with more preparation. Where are your teammates? What is your escape tool, escape kind of direction? Where do you go when you get attacked in this moment? Keeping a guard in the angel for when it actually is necessary, and not just using it because you have it. So, yeah. Your movement is absolutely crazy. Your awareness is kind of a little bit like a robot. Like either you're on 0 or you're on 1. Because if you know you get attacked, then you just completely think like everybody is focusing you and you have to hide from everybody, and from every direction comes danger. Or you say, no, it's zero, like nobody will touch me basically, I'm invincible. So understand more like where is the threat coming from and where do I actually have to hide from. Because sometimes even if they have line of sight on you and they don't see you, then just relax, right? Like just basically choose where you go and not just, yeah, panic. Easier said than done, and try to hide. And the last thing is definitely the healing and damage ratio. You just overheal way too much. And in a lot of situations, you just put yourself in the danger to heal somebody who is not necessary to heal or is not necessary to rest in this moment. Like, think about, is it, you are like a close range healer. You're almost like a Lucio when it comes to the range. So if you kind of have to cross the half of the map just to heal somebody, is this really worth it? Is it worth it for the opportunity cost that you lose of damage boost somebody else? Or can maybe not my other healer, aka the Anna in this case, just take care of this and I support the Anna to do her job? So taking all of this together, and especially also thinking about, right, like that you felt, okay, the enemy team or like your teammates are forcing you to do these things. Like the red cross that you see is just a suggestion. It's not a level up. You will not get more SR if you always heal them up immediately. So yeah, I have to say the team is not the problem. You suck. All right, thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you like it, obviously. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.